The Last Guardian. The holographic displays cast a cold blue glow across Commander Ethan Reeves' face as he studied the enemy patrol patterns. The cramped cockpit of the experimental vessel Vengeance had been his home for 13 months now. 13 months since the Sarkozy arrived. 13 months since Earth burned. Patrol formation unchanged, Ethan noted in his mission log, his voice rough from disuse. Predictable. Arrogant. The Sarkozy warships glided through Saturn's rings, their obsidian hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light, making them appear as moving voids against the cosmic backdrop. Their biotech vessels were living things, growing and evolving with every engagement. That's what had made them so devastating when they first appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. Ethan remembered that day with painful clarity. He had been at Europa Station, overseeing final calibrations on the Vengeance, humanity's most advanced stealth vessel, equipped with experimental phase-shifting technology. The ship represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity, capable of becoming completely undetectable by sliding partially out of normal space-time. When the attack began, Admiral Keller's final transmission had been brief. Commander Reeves, Earth's defenses have been breached. Major population centers are gone. This is no longer a test mission. You are now authorized to execute Protocol Omega. Remain hidden, gather intelligence, and strike when possible. You're all we have left. The Vengeance wasn't meant to be a weapon of war. It was designed for deep space exploration, to slip through dimensional boundaries and study cosmic phenomena too dangerous for conventional vessels. But necessity had transformed it into humanity's last hope, and Ethan into its avenging ghost. Sarkozy's supply convoy approaching detection range, announced Araya, the ship's eye. Estimated arrival, 7 minutes. Ethan straightened in his seat. Engage phase displacement. The ship's systems hummed softly as the phase drive activated. The technology didn't just bend light around the vessel like outdated stealth systems. It shifted the entire ship partially out of phase with normal spacetime. To the Sarkozy sensors, the Vengeance simply didn't exist. Let's see what they're moving today, Ethan whispered, directing the ship to intercept the convoy. 3 massive Sarkozy transport vessels moved in perfect formation, their escorts positioned at precise intervals. Over months of observation, Ethan had learned that the Sarkozy operated like a hive mind, with rigid hierarchies and protocols. Their inability to adapt quickly to unexpected situations was perhaps their only weakness. The Vengeance silently glided between 2 escort ships, close enough that Ethan could see the organic pulsations of their living hulls. The Sarkozy themselves remained mysterious. No human had seen one and survived to provide a reliable description, but their biotechnology was unmistakable. Their ships grew rather than being built, organic matter fused with crystalline structures that could regenerate damage. Ethan activated the specialized scanning array. Information flooded his screens: cargo manifests, crew rotations, communication protocols. Most valuable was the navigational data showing the convoy's destination. A major processing facility on Titan, where the Sarkozy converted the moon's hydrocarbons into more of their biomechanical technology. That's my next target, Ethan decided. Over the past months, he had conducted 11 sabotage operations across the solar system. Small strikes that appeared to be accidents or system failures, nothing that would reveal a human presence. A navigational buoy reprogrammed to send ships off course. A cooling system disabled at precisely the right moment to cause a crippling but non-catastrophic overload. The Sarkozy never suspected a ghost was haunting them. 4 days later, Ethan positioned the Vengeance near the Titan facility. The massive structure writhed against the moon's methane lakes, its spires reaching toward Saturn like hungry tendrils. Begin environmental scan, Ethan ordered. Area's analysis revealed a vulnerability. The facility's atmospheric regulators operated on a predictable cycle. Every 8 hours, the system momentarily reset, creating a 45-second window where the organic components were dormant during recalibration. Perfect, Ethan whispered. He deployed one of his specialized drones. Tiny machines also protected by phase-shifting technology. The drone infiltrated the facility during the reset window and injected a modified growth hormone into the regulators. Within hours, the Sarkozy's own biotechnology would grow uncontrollably, forcing them to abandon the facility until they could regain control of the runaway organic systems. As Ethan retreated to a safe distance, he intercepted Sarkozy communications. Processing Unit Titan 7. Status abnormal. Growth rate exceeding parameters. Analysis inconclusive. Awaiting instructions from Central Command. Maintain observation. Command will dispatch assessment unit. Take no independent action. That last part was key. Ethan had noticed this pattern in every Sarkozy encounter. Lower ranks never acted without explicit instructions from above. Their hierarchical efficiency became paralysis when faced with the unexpected. 2 weeks later, Ethan studied the results of his operation from the safety of Neptune's orbit. The Titan facility had been completely abandoned, its organic structures growing chaotically into useless formations. Sarkozy's supply lines throughout the outer planets were disrupted as resources were diverted to contain the malfunction. Ethan accessed his tactical database and marked potential targets for his next operation. Each small strike weakened the Sarkozy grip on the solar system. Each successful mission taught him more about their weaknesses. A transmission caught his attention, not Sarkozy communications but human. Using the Vengeance's specialized receivers, Ethan had maintained sporadic contact with the growing resistance on Earth and the outer colonies. The message was heavily encrypted, but its meaning clear. The Phantom strikes again. Titan facility lost. Sarkozy's supply lines disrupted. Resistance cells report decreased patrols in European sector. Hope spreads. Ethan hadn't intended to become a symbol, but reports of his operations had spread among surviving humans. They called him the Phantom, a lone avenger striking from nowhere, vanishing without a trace. Ethan knew the truth was less romantic. He was one person in one ship fighting a desperate guerrilla war against an overwhelming enemy. But symbols mattered. Hope mattered. Another transmission appeared on his screen, this one from the Sarkozy command frequency he monitored. The translation software worked through the alien communication structure. Anomaly assessment complete. Probability of systematic sabotage, 89.7%. Deploy hunter units to all outer system installations. Locate source of disruption. Ethan's pulse quickened. The Sarkozy were finally catching on. They didn't know what they were looking for, but they knew something was out there. Time to change tactics, he told ARIA. For months, he had focused on small, deniable operations. But with the Sarkozy now alert to sabotage, he needed to strike harder, faster, and in unexpected ways. The tactical display showed the largest Sarkozy installation in the solar system, their command mothership orbiting Mars. The massive vessel was a nexus of Sarkozy control, coordinating their operations throughout the inner planets. "What are you thinking, Commander?" Aria asked, detecting his heightened vital signs. Ethan's eyes remained fixed on the mothership. "They're expecting ghosts in the shadows, ARIA. So maybe it's time to give them something they're not expecting." A direct assault would be suicide. ARIA calculated. Probability of survival, 3.2%. Then we'll have to improve those odds. Ethan pulled up the data he'd been collecting for months. Every living thing has a weakness, even their ships. His analysis had revealed something critical about Sarkozy biotechnology. Their ships and installations were all connected to the mothership through a biological quantum network. They received instructions constantly, like cells in a body. If that connection were severed or corrupted, "I need to get a payload directly into their command node," Ethan said, formulating a plan that bordered on madness. "They'll detect any approach," Aria warned. Ethan's lips curved into a grim smile. "Not if we give them something bigger to worry about." Over the next week, Ethan prepared his boldest strike yet. He modified the Vengeance's phase drive to create a much larger field, one that could envelop an entire asteroid. Using the ship's tractor systems, he captured a half-kilometer rock from the outer belt and slowly, patiently, brought it into position. On what would have been Earth's winter solstice, Ethan enacted his plan. He positioned the phase-shifted asteroid on a collision course with the Sarkozy shipyards orbiting Phobos. At the last possible moment, he deactivated the phase field. The asteroid appeared literally out of nowhere, giving the Sarkozy seconds to react. The resulting collision devastated the shipyards, destroying dozens of vessels under construction and triggering a cascade of secondary explosions. As expected, the mothership immediately dispatched a significant portion of its defensive fleet to investigate and contain the damage. The distraction gave Ethan his window of opportunity. With the Vengeance at maximum phase displacement, he slipped through the now thin defenses around the mothership. Every system on the ship was pushed to its limit, the experimental drive straining to maintain displacement at such close proximity to the massive Sarkozy vessel. Structural integrity at 82% and falling, Araya reported. The phase field is destabilizing. Hold it together, Ethan urged the ship, approaching the enormous organic hull of the mothership. Just a little longer. He'd identified a maintenance access point, one of the few areas where physical matter regularly passed through the mothership's outer membrane. As a maintenance drone exited, the Vengeance slipped in, its phase field flickering dangerously. They were inside the beast. Reckoning. The interior of the Sarkozy mothership was like navigating through the body of some vast organism. Pulsing, translucent conduits carried unknown fluids through twisting corridors. Bioluminescent patches provided eerie, shifting light that cast long shadows across organic surfaces. Phase displacement failing. Araya warned as the Vengeance moved deeper into the alien vessel. Full collapse estimated in 17 minutes. Ethan guided the ship through a network of larger passages, following the flow of data and energy toward what his scans indicated was the central command node. If his theory was correct, that's where he would find the biological quantum processor that coordinated the entire Sarkozy presence in the solar system. They're detecting phased fluctuations, Araya reported. Security drones converging our location. Time to switch strategies, Ethan decided. He deactivated the failing phase drive and diverted power to the ship's conventional stealth systems and propulsion. The Vengeance became visible but moved faster, racing through the twisting passageways as security drones pursued. Ethan had prepared for this. He deployed modified drones of his own, each programmed to emit signals mimicking the Vengeance's signature. The security forces split, chasing multiple phantom targets through the mothership's labyrinthine interior. Command node ahead, Araya announced as they entered a vast chamber dominated by a pulsating crystalline structure suspended in a nutrient bath. Organic tendrils extended from the crystal in all directions, disappearing into the walls, floor, and ceiling. That's it, Ethan whispered. Their central processor. He wasn't a scientist, but 13 months of studying Sarkozy technology had taught him enough. Their ships, their weapons, their entire invasion force, all were extensions of this central organism. A true hive mind, with this crystal structure serving as its brain. Initiating docking procedure, Ethan said, guiding the Vengeance toward a maintenance platform near the processor. Prepare the payload. The payload was a desperate gamble. Over months of operations, Ethan had collected samples of Sarkozy biotechnology from various facilities. Working with the Vengeance's advanced synthesis equipment, he had engineered a virus of sorts, one designed to spread through the Sarkozy biological network and corrupt their command protocols. As the ship settled onto the platform, alarm signals pulsed through the chamber. The Sarkozy knew they had an intruder. Security drones converging. Estimated time to arrival. 2 minutes, Araya reported. Keep the engines hot, Ethan ordered, donning an environmental suit. I'm going out there. Commander, the probability of successful manual delivery is. Spare me the odds, Araya. Just be ready to extract on my signal. Ethan emerged from the airlock carrying a container of the engineered virus. The atmosphere within the mothership was breathable, but filled with spores and biological agents that would likely be toxic to humans with prolonged exposure. Moving quickly across the platform, he approached the pulsating processor. Up close, it was even more alien. The crystalline structure seemed to respond to his presence, its pulsations accelerating. Tendrils on the nearby surfaces began to move toward him, sensing the intrusion. Ethan reached the access port he had identified from the scans, an interface point where maintenance drones connected to perform adjustments to the system. He attached the container to the port and activated the injection sequence. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The crystal's pulsations became erratic as the engineered virus entered its system. The organic tendrils thrashed violently, and alarm signals increased in pitch and frequency throughout the chamber. Virus integration at 20%, Ethan noted, checking the container's readout. 40%, 60%. The first security drones entered the chamber, floating spheres of biomechanical construction that moved with unsettling grace. They immediately converged on Ethan's position. 80%, 90%. A drone fired, the energy blast striking nearby. Ethan drew the sidearm he carried, a conventional weapon that had proven effective against Sarkozy biotechnology, and returned fire, disabling the first drone. Integration complete. As he turned to rush back to the Vengeance, a second blast caught him in the leg. Ethan staggered but continued moving, dragging the injured limb behind him. More drones flooded the chamber. The Vengeance's defense systems activated, providing covering fire as Ethan struggled back to the airlock. Virus is spreading through their network, Araya reported as Ethan collapsed inside the ship. Sarkozy systems showing cascading failures throughout the mothership. "Get us out of here," Ethan ordered through gritted teeth, applying pressure to his wounded leg. The Vengeance disengaged from the platform and accelerated toward the exit route they had mapped. Throughout the mothership, systems were failing as the virus corrupted the command protocols. Security drones moved erratically or shut down entirely. Doorways sealed or opened at random. As they raced through the final corridor toward the outer hull, Ethan noticed something unexpected on the sensors: movement from within sealed chambers, life signs that weren't consistent with any Sarkozy patterns he had documented. "Araya, what am I looking at?" The AI analyzed the readings. Human biosignatures detected. Multiple containment areas throughout this section of the mothership. Prisoners. Ethan's mind raced with implications. Can we access them? Negative. The virus is causing random compartment lockdowns. We cannot reach them without compromising our escape route. Ethan made a quick decision. Modify the virus protocol. Include commands to unlock human containment areas and mark escape routes through the ship. That would accelerate Sarkozy awareness of the virus's presence, Araya warned. "Do it," Ethan ordered. "They're not dying here." As the Vengeance approached the hull, Araya confirmed that the virus modification was implemented. Throughout the mothership, containment areas were opening, releasing hundreds of human prisoners taken during the invasion. "Emergency alert," Araya suddenly announced. "Mothership defense systems initiating self-destruct sequence. The virus has triggered their ultimate failsafe." "How long?" 22 minutes until complete destruction." The Vengeance broke through the outer membrane of the mothership, emerging into open space. Immediately, they came under fire from the few Sarkozy vessels that remained in defensive position. "Evasive maneuvers," Ethan ordered. "Get us clear of the blast radius." The ship accelerated away from the mothership, weaving through enemy fire. Behind them, smaller vessels began launching from the dying Leviathan, escape pods of various configurations, many of them not Sarkozy in design. "Human ships detected," Araya confirmed. "Prisoners utilizing available escape vessels. Tag them with identification markers," Ethan said. "The Resistance needs to know they're friendly." As the Vengeance pulled away from the mothership, Ethan opened a broad-spectrum transmission channel, something he had never risked before. "This is Commander Ethan Reeves of Earth Fleet to all human survivors. The The Sarkozy mothership will self-destruct in approximately 20 minutes. Get clear to minimum safe distance of 500,000 kilometers. Repeat. Get clear to minimum safe distance. The transmission would reveal his existence to any Sarkozy listening, but it no longer mattered. The virus was already spreading through their network, corrupting command protocols across the entire invasion force. 18 minutes later, from what the Vengeance calculated as a safe observation distance, Ethan watched the mothership detonate in a series of massive explosions. The blast rippled through space, the shockwave detectable even at their distance. Status of the virus? Ethan asked, his voice hoarse. Before mothership destruction, virus had achieved 78% propagation through the Sarkozy network, Araya reported. All Sarkozy units connected to the central command structure are experiencing critical systems failures. Estimate complete collapse of Sarkozy command and control within 48 hours. Ethan let out a long breath. It wasn't a decisive victory. There were still Sarkozy forces throughout the solar system, but their unified coordination was shattered. Without central direction, their rigid hierarchy would collapse into chaos. How many human ships escaped? Tracking 37 vessels with approximately 412 survivors, Araya answered. Ethan nodded slowly. Open a secure channel to all resistance frequencies. When the connection was established, he spoke clearly, knowing his words would spread to every pocket of human resistance. This is Commander Ethan Reeves of the vessel Vengeance. The Sarkozy command structure has been compromised. Their forces are in disarray. To all human survivors, this is not just a victory. This is the beginning of our counterattack. For 13 months, I've been studying their weaknesses. Now I'm transmitting everything I've learned to all resistance cells. The Sarkozy thought they conquered humanity, but they only taught us how to fight harder. They don't understand what we've always known. Humans don't surrender, we adapt. We survive. And now, we take back what's ours. As the transmission concluded, Ethan looked out at the stars, past the debris field that was once the center of Sarkozy power, toward Earth. For the first time in 13 months, he allowed himself to feel something beyond survival and vengeance. Hope. One man, one ship, and the resilience of humanity that could never be extinguished.